All is well, so we are good to go here. We can move on with the TSL4 qualifiers. Yeah, and we've seen some great games so far. I mean, we've seen games where players are playing based off of the map and dynamically based off of their positions. Seen some really interesting aggression come out from some of the players. So I'm excited as we have 2 more round of 8 matches left. Then, of course, we go into the semifinals and ultimately the finals, which will be a best of 5. But we haven't really talked too much about it. We should just mention some of the other people that will be featured in the tournament of TSL4. I mean, this is, of course, the qualifiers leading up to a much bigger competition. And we've got Naniwa, Thorzane, and Cass making a return here from previous. And now who is qualified so far as Protoss? We've got Daisy, Sase, Mana, Wellmu, and Creator. Terran, Sting, and Beastie Cute, who makes the second Terran to now be qualified. And then Zerg, Nurchio, Curious, Rhett, and Vortex. So some very interesting players, some new faces as well, Apollo, and it just makes this tournament that much more exciting.
Yeah, and the qualifiers, I mean, everybody's having fun throughout the qualifiers, the European, the North American one, and of course the Korean one. And I'm glad that the Koreans each have their own qualifiers, and they are giving us these games, and everybody loves these kind of games. And already in this game, we're actually seeing Maru go for gas before anything else, which is considered abnormal now because you don't really see this very often. It's usually one barracks command center into a 10-minute stim timing push, but now it's actually been changed up a little bit here. Terran players are throwing in these kind of builds, which causes a lot of panic sometimes for Protoss players.
Yeah, and I mean, it's seen too. So I'm curious to see exactly how we'll see reaction come out here by Genius. I mean, Genius is a very seasoned player. He's been through it all, including the finals of a GSL. So he's also one of these players that I believe is very capable of making those reads, not overreacting, really being able to play dynamically based off of that as well. So I expect that we'll see some good things out of Genius. But Maru, not only a intelligent player, but a younger guy, and so much potential in him. So much potential, Apollo.
Yeah, I know, man. He hasn't done that well in the TSL qualifiers, and he hasn't hit the main results that he really wants.
Yeah.
I mean, in GSTL he's done well, but he is so young, he has a lot of time, and I said in the intro that he just has a great team and support around him being in Prime. They're a fantastic team, they've got results left and right, and I think he's in the best atmosphere possible to develop into one of the best Terran players in the world. But, winning TSL4 main tournament could be that, but of course he has to go through a GSL finalist, and, this could be a very difficult road he's going to go down. But we do have double gases coming down from Maru, who seems to be rushing up straight for tech, potentially straight for a Cloak Banshee style of 1-1-1 play.
Yeah, and with that Nexus going down here for Genius, it's going to be very difficult. I mean, he's throwing down 2 more gateways before a Robo comes up as well. Robo likely going to be his next drop here, but will he keep this hidden for a while? I mean, his opponent's got to know that's likely the way that he's going to go. But there we see the factory going over, landing, giving the tech lab to the starport. And there's going to be a lot of gas available here for Maru. Find out exactly what he's going to plan to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2 plans. He can go Cloak Banshee, or he goes Cloakless Banshee and add on tanks really, really early on here. But he is researching Cloak, so the tanks won't come out rapid. They won't have siege mode, if at all, in this game. But it looks like he's going to be playing a very 1-1-1 style of play. Let's see what he does with the rest of his money, because, of course, you can play a Cloak Banshee and easily fall back on an expansion. But with the next set of gas, is he going to be throwing on anything to the factory? No, not yet. He throws down another barracks with a reactor, then the tech lab. So he actually is dedicating fully to this aggressive 1-base Cloak Banshee into tank marine push.
He's definitely investing heavy into it. There's no doubt about that. And will we see Genius come up with some level of some level of idea that this is actually coming? We do have the robotics bay finishing up, and that observer is going to be chronoed out as quickly as he possibly can. I mean, right now, really playing in the dark, knows there's the wall there. In fact, does he still know it as he still knows it as the barracks? So from the back. Cloak's about finished, and that first Banshee's about ready to hit the natural.
Yeah, the Observer though is really, really close to it though, so he can turn around pretty fast here once he sees it, but he delayed the Robo to go gateways first, which means there's only one Observer and it's in the other side of the map, but the Banshee will enter, and he doesn't need a cloak until units start attacking, and the Observer's not turning around, he's making a new one, and this means at least 10 probe kills here if he micros well, and that is a great start, and could potentially be the end of Genius already.
Ooh, there's one sentry goes down. He's going to go for the second one. Guardian Shield forced out. He goes back after probes, retargets. A lot of great targeting going on here. And there we do have another Observer coming to play. Is he going to be able to save the Banshee? He does. And that in itself, I mean, anytime you rack up 8 kills, 2 of those being sentry, and then you manage to also get out of there unscathed. Well, he is definitely scathed, but he's going to be able to repair up. It's quite nice. He tried to snipe the Observer, Apollo, in the southeast corner of his base, but Maru was not able to do that. Genius will sneak away with that, not forcing another one out. But, you know, looking at the probe kills, he killed 6. I think the bigger hit was the loss of those 2 sentries.
Yeah, that was really painful, but right now, through the Observer seeing the reactor in the heavy marine count, knowing that there's cloak, knowing that there can't be siege tech, sorry, we've seen an incredible big risk taken out here by Genius to go straight to Colossus. If he gets there in time and gets Colossus out, easy pushback. If this happens where Moro pushes out, no, Moro comes back in. If Moro goes right now, he could potentially just win the game like that. But the longer he waits, the Colossus will be out, and the Colossus will easily offend this back.
Well, we've got an Observer right there. 2 Banshees going to come in here. Is he actually going to go toe-to-toe versus these Stalkers? Looks like he wants to. Those other units not really going to be able to help, and the Sentry would be a bit hurt here. But is this force going to move out? SCV moving up. Sees there's the Immortal, the Zealots, but he knows he's taken out 2 Sentries. So he's got to be feeling good about his chances here. We're going to have 3 more Zealots coming in. And is he going to move out? Yes, 3rd Banshee comes into play, and here he begins the march across the map.
And if he can somehow bait a siege tech, or kind of a siege, sorry, from these tanks before he gets to the natural, that's going to be great. But he now knows about it, he sees the probes, he may want to push out a little bit. Doesn't want to just give the position under his natural, I don't think, here. But a Colossus and a second one is being chrono boosted out. Right now, Moro's going to set up right underneath the natural, and this is going to be pretty annoying here. And, you know, this is going to be really difficult to deal with. But with the Colossus coming out, like I said, it's really, really good.
Yeah, I mean, unless the Banshees can gain some control and snipe it before it can do anything. It did see it. I think he saw it. The Banshee's heading over that way. But they can't get too far out of position. They take out one of them, and it looks like these units are going to shoot forward. Point defense drone thrown down here. Now we'll see the Banshees retarget that Colossus. A great move coming out here by Maru. The fact that he saw that Colossus, identified it as a threat, he does take it down, and we will have a second one popping here shortly, but I don't think it's going to be enough time.
Yeah, this is going to be lose a lot of probes. He still has a lot of Stalkers left. The Banshees can easily turn around and go kill the Colossus, and it looks like Genius in a world of trouble here. Zealots do come in, and he may be able to hold on to the natural. The Marines are dying so fast. Another Colossus comes out, and that will actually hold it on for now. I mean, the reinforcements are never going to be strong enough. Despite losing so many probes, he will hold.
Oh, but he sniped that Observer. That's what the scan was for right there, and so he's going to get a bunch of free kills right here on all these units. More are coming in. The energy is looking pretty good on these Banshees, and that Observer snipe was single-handedly quite good in really maximizing the damage. I mean, we do see Genius holding this off, and the big difference here is the fact that, well, his opponent did not flat-out kill him, and now Maru has no base behind it. So where does he go from here? Is there an opportunity for his opponent to come back? 18 workers were killed, and on the other hand, Maru spent a lot of SCVs in that offensive shot. So really interesting position on both these guys. I thought the snipe of the Observer could be it if there were a few more ground units there, and those Stalkers were getting hit with additional DPS. That could have been over, but he held very nicely despite losing that initial Colossus.
Yeah, and he was hugging the minerals so well there, and he just played it really nicely out. But in this situation, if you're Maru, do you expand? No, because your opponent chrono boosts and just gets ahead anyway. You have to go for a double take, and in that double take, there's going to be a Colossus, a second one. a third one, a fourth one, you name it. This is going to be really, really difficult to come back, and actually could just be the end of Maru in this game. And as long as Genius doesn't take any unnecessary losses, then he's going to be great.
I mean, I guess Maru is at that point of no return. Like, he can't really defend against a giant attack. He is really trying to pick away at these units here, microing back the stalkers, and you know, he's going to have to go back for repair. But he's retaining all those units. Problem is like you mentioned, like when Colossus 2 comes out, Colossus 3, at that point, you know, it's going to be real rough here for Maru. He's got 2 more tanks and is getting more SCVs ready here to repair up, and then he might just likely make that push and hope for the best. But I think Genius, if he stays on his track, Apollo, should be okay.
He's going to chrono boost out a couple of Phoenixes here as well, just to deal with the Banshees. And, you know, they will deal with the Banshees really, really well here. And Genius just has too much. It's as simple as that. It's a double take coming out. SCV's being pulled once again there. I wonder if we'll see a triple take here, but I don't think that's possible. Genius just has 3 Colossus. He has a great set of units. Phoenix is coming out to help with the Banshees, and Maru's in trouble. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, he might need another observer, and he is queuing one up right now. But here we go, tank sieging up on the outside. You have a few Zealots immediately picked off here. So those Banshees will be a big problem, but we will have the Phoenix out soon. There, the first one hits the field. 3 Colossus now, and really the only thing Maru can do is what he is doing right now. Just kind of move up a little bit at a time here.
Yeah, and he's putting it really well, actually, but Phoenix control still has to be tight from Genius, even though it's going to be easier for Genius this time around. If he messes up, it still could easily go Maru's way. Yeah,
and here now Colossus getting into position. It looks like Genius is just going to go ahead and go for it. Unfortunately, Zealot's funneling through here. 1 Colossus is down. Colossus number 2 is about to fall. And is Maru actually going to break this? It looks like he will. He just got set up in too good of a position. And there's still 3 siege tanks remaining. Now 1 bunker down. A second one most certainly on the way. And I just think it was all about letting Maru get in that good position.
Yeah, and great targeting down with the Banshees on the Colossus, and this natural world 4. Another Colossus is going to be out here. Genius not going to give up now. I mean, he's still, you know, twice his supply of his opponent, but he has a lot of useless probes who will have to fight. Their duty is now. This is time. But with bunker set up, this is going to be really difficult to break down here, I think. There's almost no reinforcements. Genius still mining from 1 base. And, you know, of course he's not out of it yet, but Maru is such a tough place. But remember, the Phoenixes can always pick up the tanks eventually here, and then he can dart in once again for a last-ditch attack, and he can sacrifice almost all probes here too if he needs.
And we have a warp
Genius
in
with
on
another
the south.
Colossus as well.
We do have a warp in here. 2 Zealots from the south. They're checking for an expansion, so he knows his opponent's all in here. Might be able to even pick off some reinforcements. Well, that observer was picked off, Apollo, and now this Banshee just doing a ton more damage there. He needs to get rid of those Banshees. I mean, at this point, I think he actually could get rid of them. Do we have any more on the way? It doesn't look like it here. So he knows just what kind of a position he's put in. And now moving forward, the tanks, will it be able to get that Colossus? They do. And are there enough Marines left over? A snipe of the tanks. The bunker still stands, though. I think that could be the deciding factor, but no. Last tank does go down. Probes pulling out. The Marines are going to get cleaned up. The Zealots clean it all up, and Maru loses his position. He's got no expansion. And despite the fact that there's just a few mineral patches left here, with 1 Colossus out, Genius should finally have taken it.
Yeah, great little maneuver there by Genius. Great patience is probably the key there. And now he's moving across with a bunch of sentries, a Colossus which you know, is pretty much untouched at this stage of the game. A Banshee trying to make its way out. The Observer's there anyway. And Genius smells victory. He's played that absolutely perfectly from start to finish. Maybe could have not let Maru get in such a position, but GG, man.